The following program does not offer personal medical advice. Please consult your doctor before using any treatment or product we cover. Welcome to Go to Health Media with your host, Jonathan Marks. We provide a welcoming environment where experts educate you on important health topics, answer your questions, and provide information from which you can benefit in consultation with your doctor. You can visit and subscribe to the show at gotohealthmedia.com. And now, here is Jonathan Marks. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Go to Health Media. This is your host, Jonathan Marks. We have a different kind of show today. I met somebody recently on a webinar who is associated with healthcare, and I thought her work is so fascinating that we'd have her on the show. Does your healthcare organization ask you to help raise money, perhaps by selling gala tickets or suggesting friends to the development team, or perhaps talking with patients about supporting the endowment? Do you hate fundraising? Does the thought of asking for money make you nauseous or make you want to crawl into bed? This session will help you identify some of your fears and help you appreciate the value of helping raise money for your healthcare organization. Our guest, Barrie Atkin, is the author of the book, Hate Fundraising? How to Become Comfortable Asking for Money. Just newly published, it has received over 30 five-star reviews on Amazon and achieved bestseller status in more than one category. Barrie has consulted to over 100 organizations in fundraising, marketing, and strategy, including healthcare organizations and healthcare publishers. Some of her better-known clients, the Massachusetts Medical Society, the Lupus Clinical Trials Consortium, the Nature Conservancy, ESPN, and Consumer Reports. Barrie has a master's in science education from the University of Pennsylvania and an MBA from Harvard Business School, as well as a certificate in professional fundraising from Boston University. Welcome to the show today, Barrie Atkin. How are you?
Hi, Jonathan. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm fine and hope you are too.
I am. Thank you. So why do people hate fundraising so much? Tell us more about that. I know you know a lot about it.
Oh my goodness. There are so many reasons that people have angst about fundraising. In fact, over the years, teaching people how to overcome their fears, I've heard at least 36 reasons. People are scared of asking. They are afraid they will mess up. They may be uncomfortable talking about money. They are afraid of being turned down. What's your biggest fear?
So let me share that I think my biggest fear would be the fear of being turned down. Can you say more about that?
Sure. That's rejection and sometimes embarrassment. But rejection is absolutely the big gorilla. It's the one that almost everybody is afraid of, but there are others. And over the years, I've counted at least 36 reasons people hate fundraising. And I've listed them all out in my book. But what I've done with those reasons is I've combined them into 6 overarching categories. And rejection is definitely one of them.
Can you share some of the other categories?
Absolutely. So one of those categories is lack of knowledge of fundraising techniques or best practices. That one is relatively easy to come through learning more. Another one is lack of confidence in your abilities. So if you're afraid to go and talk to someone, but it's also related to lack of knowledge. A third one is really interesting. Discomfort with money or talking about money. And this may be related to how you were taught about money as a child, what images of money and emotions surrounded money as a child, and whether or not you were expected or encouraged to donate to charities. Another one is fear of damaging a relationship with a friend or relative. So if you're asking them for money and they always perceive you as the person who comes asking for money, that could strain the relationship. And the last one is discomfort with the cause or organization. So if you're working for an organization that you really don't believe in, or you feel that they have so much money, they don't need donations from you, they don't need your support, you're not going to be a very good fundraiser.
So I understand that you used to hate fundraising. What changed for you? And I'm sure this was a motivation to write your book.
This is true. Back a few years ago, I was introduced to Stu Maddox, a very terrific documentary producer and writer. And he had a trailer for a documentary called Gen Silent, which was about the challenges that older adults who are LGBTQ face when they're caregiving or need health care as they age. I saw the trailer. At that time, my partner had lung cancer, and there was a lot in it that resonated for me. And while I used to hate fundraising, that event made me realize I needed to have a passion for an organization. I got very excited about the trailer. I helped raise money to get the documentary made. I traveled to Richmond, Virginia, to Chicago, and other places to help support the film and talk about it after the screenings. And that was my paradigm shift. From hating fundraising, I recognized that if I really cared about the cause, I could ask for money.
That's a really big issue there. If you really care about the cause, what will motivate you to help it, right? And this is one of the
Right,
ways you can help is by fundraising.
exactly. Of course, you
How-
can also help it by donating.
yes, of course. How did you decide to write your book, To Hate Fundraising, How to Become More Comfortable Asking for Money? How did that come about?
That was inspired by a number of years ago by a wonderful CEO of Katie's Closet, Mickey Cockrell. Katie's Closet helps homeless children be more effective in schools. And I was having lunch with Mickey one day. I had mentored her in an incubator for entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
And she was telling me, wow, all this advice you've been giving, you should write a book. And that's what inspired me. But it took a while.
Good. I'm sure it did. So tell us more about the work that you do. And before you do, Barry, I just want to share with people your website so people can go there to learn more. It's barrieatkin.com, and I'll spell that. It's Barrieatkin. Let me repeat that. It's Barrieatkin.com. So, Barry, tell us more about the work that you do in general.
I'm a consultant to not for profits and mission driven organizations in fundraising, marketing and branding, and strategic planning. And I love helping organizations develop more revenue and increase their visibility and increase their ability to get out to the public.
Great. That's wonderful. What are some of the organizations you've worked with?
They range from large organizations like Consumer Reports and ESPN, the Nature Conservancy, to smaller not-for-profits, Massachusetts Youth Soccer Association, National Council on Aging, so a range of organizations.
You must have a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do.
What do you find fun about it? What's the most fun?
Well, I have a client right now. Actually, it's a marketing branding client. And I just met with the team that we're going to work on a new rebranding project. And they were so excited. I gave them some suggestions of homework, and they said, wow, yeah, we'd love to do that. So that's really exciting. And then I know they will come up with an exciting new brand.
So let's talk a little bit about fundraising in healthcare. If I'm a doctor or a nurse or other kind of healthcare practitioner, why should I get involved in fundraising?
Most likely, your healthcare agency can't exist without donations from grateful patients. The fees, the insurance, it just doesn't cover it all. You are the face of your agency. Patients know you. They don't know the CEO of your agency. They don't know the administrative staff for the most part. You are the conduit to those patients. You know who is so grateful that they might be open to the suggestion of donating to the organization or to a special project to fund some aspect of whatever that physician is involved with. At a minimum, you can include brochures about the value of donating in your waiting room. You can include brochures about everything that your organization does and its benefits to consumers, to patients. I'm sure your development team would love to have you ask for materials to put in your waiting room.
And do you have an example of how a practicing provider has helped, let's say, with hospital fundraising?
I do. A few years ago, I was interviewing thought leaders in lupus for an organization called Lupus Clinical Trials Consortium. And I was meeting with physicians who are lupus experts in more than a dozen universities and medical centers. One of them, the leader in that particular hospital, had lots of money coming into her location. Another had none, or none from patients. The difference was the one who had lots of money coming in was very personable. She sat down with her patients. She learned about them. She asked them questions. She helped them celebrate their successes. And she got involved when they weren't feeling well. Whereas the other one that wasn't bringing in money from patients, she was much more an introvert and much more research focused. The one who really was very personable and outgoing, she had gotten a whole wing of her building named for a patient because of her efforts. And she put on fairs and events with some of her patients, helping organize those.
And isn't that so satisfying to be working for an organization and know that you're helping it survive by fundraising? That must be incredible.
Right. It's a matter of also the development team helping train the providers about how they can help the development efforts without feeling that they're overstepping the doctor or physician or provider patient relationship.
Good. Tell us more about that line, because I'm sure it exists. And how do you know when you're crossing it? Where is that line?
Well, I suspect that providers would know that line better than I would.
Okay.
It's a matter of not pushing it on them. It's a matter of listening very carefully, as you would with any prospect, so that you hear what are their interests. What do they care about? And you learn more about them, and you have a conversation that goes into what's important to them. What are their values? So that you can follow up with questions at an appropriate time to say, oh, you seem to be very interested in making a difference in people's lives in this area. Is that something you'd like to get involved with here at our hospital or our not-for-profit?
You talked before about the introverted doctor who was not successful at fundraising. What can she do? She says, look, I really, really hate fundraising. Is there anything I can do to help that doesn't require asking for money?
Well, that's great. She's starting out saying, what can I do to help? That's the first piece, because she at least recognizes that it's important for her to be involved. There are plenty of other ways that she can contribute to the success of the organization. She can write thank you notes to donors. She can represent the organization at an event. She can write an article for the newsletter or the brochure or whatever communications, talking about her research and how that's going to benefit more people in the field. She can share her passion for what she does with friends or colleagues. And she can help invite people to events that are held at the organization. And last but not least, she can donate to the organization.
Good. That's great. So we're talking with Barrie Atkin. Her book is newly published, and it's already hit the bestseller list. It's called Hate Fundraising, ? How to Become Comfortable Asking for Money. And her website, where you can go to learn more and also buy the book, is barrieatkin.com. It's BarrieAtkin.com. So Barrie, before we leave, what other messages would you like to share with us that are important that I haven't asked about already?
I'd like to give a couple of tips about fundraising overall. One is it's very important to recognize that fundraising, like many aspects in life, is about relationships. It's not about reciprocity. It's not about forcing oneself. It's about getting to know people, finding out what they're about, what they're interested in, and giving them an opportunity to have a passion and make a difference in something they already care about. That's really important.
Wonderful.
And the other is fundraising can be fun.
Tell me, how is that?
It can be very creative.
Uh-huh.
I actually used my dog for fundraising at one point.
How so?
My dog was a rescue dog. And when I went on vacation, I would go back to his rescue mom, and his rescue mom, who loved him, would take him back in. And instead of my paying her to take care of him, I would give money to the shelter. I'm
Nice.
not sure how that translates for healthcare, but it was a fun experience. And I put him on a poster and would say, I help fundraise, ask me how.
Got it. Great. That's good. So for the dog was doing fundraising. Wonderful. Good. So we've been talking with Barrie Atkin. She's the author of Hate Fundraising, question mark, How to Become Comfortable Asking for Money. And I asked her to be on the show today because she has been so involved in healthcare. And I thought this was a new aspect for our show and to educate people to help support health organizations that we interview. And I want to thank you so much for being on the show today, Barrie. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Jonathan. It was my pleasure.
Good. And again, Barrie is the author of Hate Fundraising, question mark, How to Become Comfortable Asking for Money. There's that book.
And this
And
is also brand new, the companion journal to Hate Fundraising.
and what's in
So
there? What's in there, Barrie?
this is a workbook. So if I'm speaking with a board or a group of people to teach them how to become more comfortable about fundraising, they can use this workbook to go along with the book itself.
Wonderful.
So it is the companion book to Hate Fundraising.
Great. Good. Thank you for sharing both of those with us. Again, we've been talking with Barrie Atkin. You can reach her at barrieatkin.com. That's BarrieAtkin.com. Thanks again, Barrie. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And remember, everybody, as we say at the end of every show, go to health. We'll see you again next time. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in this week to Go to Health Media. Be sure to join Jonathan Marks and another health expert next time. You can also catch the program on your favorite podcast platform. Until our next show, be sure to visit us on the web at gotohealthmedia.com and elevate your life.